afternoon, Pukekohe. Beautiful out here, isn't it? Unfortunately, this wonderful land has been tainted recently by the touch of the Prime Minister, John Key. John Key is a Federal Reserve henchman. John Key was sent here by the New York Wall Street Stock Exchange to destroy this country. And it is not destroyed just yet, but he's working on it. The GCSB bill will take away your rights to privacy. Public street, mate.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Is this a private street? Is it owned by a company?
You've got to get permission to do this.
No, you don't actually. It's called free speech, sir.
Call the police.
Okay, call the police. This is what happens when you express free speech. People attempt to call the police if they don't like what you're saying. That is what this country is turning into a place where simply expressing your opinion, certain people are so offended by an opinion that they don't agree with that they will indeed wish you to be arrested or talked to by police. Apologies to any of the people who are running reputable and respectable businesses here. This is not meant to offend you or impede on your business standing. This is simply a public service announcement about the GCSB bill and its attempts to rob New Zealanders of their hard-earned privacy. My grandfather's friends, every single one of them, died in World War II due to the Japanese. The Japanese Empire tried to control people, tried to control what they could say, tried to control what they could think. And we, New Zealanders, decided that that was not good enough and sent our men, our bright, flowering young men, off to die to protect our freedoms. And today, many people have forgotten their sacrifice and indeed are enforcing the same policy, the same mindset as the Empire of Japan and indeed the Third Reich of Nazi Germany. Throughout history, when the police are used to intervene with free speech, when surveillance is used upon those who disagree with the government's position, inevitably and invariably, that will result in the enslavement and/or extermination of the population of the host country. The first group of people to have legislation passed against them by Nazi Germany were homeschoolers. After homeschoolers became illegal in Nazi Germany, the Nazi government was then able to forcibly indoctrinate all the children of Germany to view the state as its most precious possession and prize. Unfortunately, though, the state tends to betray people, and this is echoed throughout history, by indoctrinating them in places like public schools. The word government is derived from the Latin govern, meaning control, and ment, meaning mind. So when you hear of a government school, it is a mind control school. When you hear of a government hospital, it is a mind control hospital. This is what the original Latin means. Govern, meaning control, ment, meaning mind. That is what is happening in this country today. Unfortunately, our people, respectable New Zealanders like those who are walking around today, are oblivious to the attacks on your freedom and the attacks on your economy. John Key came here from Wall Street. Many people may not be aware that he was a European bond and derivatives trader for the Federal Reserve Bank for up to 2 years. Derivatives, Money magazine has said, were one of the prime causes of the 2008 financial crash. Incidentally, the person who was being touted as the person who would save us from the 2008 financial crash was a derivatives trader named John Key. This is far beyond the fox guarding the hen house. This is the fox with a hammer and nails actually building the hen house, hiring the hens to be inside so that he can then consume them. New Zealand is under attack by international forces of the intelligence agencies from overseas. The GCSB, the government department charged with protecting New Zealanders by surveilling potentially dangerous people, indeed has offices within its very building in Wellington that are occupied by the United States National Security Agency, the NSA, which in Mexican is pronounced the NSA. The difficulty with informing people about the, not opinion, but fact that New Zealand is turning very slowly but surely into a draconian police state is that people will not believe the truth even if they are told about it. Such is the level of propaganda coming out of the mainstream media that even if you are told the truth, you would not believe it, even if it reached up and bit you. John Key is the Prime Minister. He is, in my considered opinion, a psychopathic individual. Psychopaths are defined by a distinct lack of empathy. When a psychopath smiles, you will notice that the teeth will be visible, but normally a person of good conscience will, instead of crinkling their eyes when they smile, as is a normal person, they will remain normal. This is the bankster smile that you see here on this board. This is the bankster smile of John Key, a man who has no problems lying, a man who has no problem deceiving the people of this great nation of New Zealand. This is a dangerous time that we live in. Many times throughout history, people will have obligations upon them to sacrifice themselves so that their people might be free in the future. The Māori elders that I have spoken to are resisting the agenda by overseas interests to take over countries, not for themselves and not for their children, but for their posterity. For it is our grandchildren, not just our children, that will inherit this country in perpetuity. And this is why I am here, to fight for the very next and last generation, possibly, to experience a free country. I love this nation. I am a patriot. When patriots tell the truth, they are often ridiculed, jeered at, and attacked. And it is only once their cause has proven successful that others will rally to them and support the very cause that they've suffered fighting all along. Because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Patriotism does not have a 4-year shelf life. Unfortunately, politicians do. The amount of lies that the Prime Minister John Key has told the people of New Zealand is unconscionable. The people of this nation are, by the whole, innocent, caring individuals who understand that having freedom is akin to having your privacy. When your privacy disappears, so too does your freedom. The end of privacy, that is what the GCSB bill truly means. When privacy is no more, freedom is no more. The freedom to open your own business, the freedom to be an entrepreneur, the freedom to speak as you choose fit without police harassment will be no more. I say kill the bill. Kill the GCSB bill and kill it now. Its threat is too great to be left to its own devices. The two people who are the linchpins of national government policy being passed under urgency for the last number of years that they have been in power are Peter Dunn and John Banks. These two men are clearly without a conscience, and you can see evidence of that when you see how they vote during a conscience vote. They generally vote in precisely the same manner as the National Party wishes them to. This is the unfortunate instance when you have democracy. People think democracy is a good thing. Have a look at what the definition of democracy is. Demos meaning the mob. Cracy meaning the rule. It is mob rule. That is what democracy truly is. Good afternoon, officer. We'll be gone in a second, sir. Mob rule is what democracy means. It means that 51% of the people can take away the rights. Good afternoon, officer. We'll be with you in a second. 51% of the people can vote away the rights of the other 49% of the people. This is what democracy truly means. And right now, for expressing free speech, police officers of the New Zealand Police are about to come and talk to me. And I will assure them that I have broken no law. Make sure you get the cops on camera there, bro. All right. I will assure the New Zealand Police that I have broken no law by exercising my right to free speech. Hello, sir. How are you?
Very well, yourself. Just mind turning it off for me, please.
I'm just going to record this conversation, just in case, sir.
In case of what?
You're okay of being filmed?
No, I'm not, no.
Okay. All right, in that case, we'll just... What would you like to say?
Off?
Oh, the megaphone's off, sir.
Well, I can still hear it coming from somewhere.
It's not coming through, see?
Okay, would you mind turning the camera off for me, please?
No, don't turn the cameras off.
All right, well, what is the purpose of your protest here today?
We are speaking about John Key.
Okay, what are you saying about John Key?
We're saying that he is the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
Yes, we are aware of that.
And we are saying that he is passing the GCSB bill. And we are talking about how it is a threat to the privacy of citizens.
Right, and is the High Street of Pukekohe on a Friday afternoon the place to have this conversation?
Yes.
Why?
Because we're already here.
Yes, where have you come from?
I've come from Auckland.
Lovely, all right.
What is your name, sir, by the way?
I'm Sergeant Danny Hobson.
Danny Hobson, lovely to meet you. I'm Vinny Eastwood, Mr.
Hello,
News.
We'll grab your details in a minute.
All right, not a problem. I'm the largest New Zealand alternative media outlet. And
Singular, on your own?
Yes.
How does that work?
I produce more hours of video and radio content per day than TVNZ and TV3 do combined.
Right, okay.
And I have a larger following on YouTube than they do combined as well. More followers on YouTube than the New Zealand Herald TV also.
Right.
I have a 5-day-a-week radio show called The Vinny Eastwood Show on AmericanFreedomRadio.com that goes out to at least 5 countries, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day.
That's the beauty of the internet, isn't it?
It is indeed, sir.
What's your purpose for being here now? What are you hoping to... How long are you going to be here?
Oh, we were actually just about to pack up in about maybe 5-10 minutes or so.
Right, and then what's your plans for the rest of your day?
Go home, edit the footage, upload it, and essentially that's the objective, because protesting when you've got cameras and so on and so forth are really only effective if they get online. So it means that you expand the audience. So that way it matters not which location or time.
My issue is, Vinny, is the fact that people are complaining about the sound coming out from your protest. Everyone's entitled to protest. All right. The issue I have is is your noise.
Noise level?
Well, yes, the fact that it's coming all the way down the high street, all the storekeepers are ringing up complaining about the level of your noise. Everyone is entitled to protest. You know, you're entitled as much as anybody to stand on here and explain your way or your views on everything that's going on.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes, sir.
My issue is that people are complaining about your noise.
Okay.
All right. I'm quite happy for you to stay here for another 5 minutes if you wish.
Yeah, that's right.
But without the screaming and shouting through your megaphone.
There was no screaming and shouting.
Well,
it was simply
loud,
calm.
very loud.
As far as I know, annoyance is not a crime yet.
No one's saying annoyance is a crime.
But are you simply just asking me to just to turn the megaphone down, or are you asking to turn it off entirely?
I would like off, but I will settle with down.
Okay.
All right. I am conscious of the people of Puckercoat. All right.
Yep.
Not everyone will have the same views as yourself.
Of course.
All right. And we don't want everybody with megaphones trying to get their views across on a Friday afternoon at just after 4 o'clock.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're Sergeant Danny, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much
All
for your
right.
time.
I'd like you to turn that off in a minute, so I'm going to grab your details off you. I'll make a note of the fact that I've spoken to you and record the fact that we've had this conversation.
Well, we're recording this conversation,
I
so
know,
it'll be used.
with it.
Oh well, you know, it comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Well, not necessarily. It doesn't know.
Is this the first protest you've attended?
Oh no.
No, you've seen many.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Well,
This seems to be one of the smaller ones I've ever seen.
oh, this is just me and a few of my supporters just turning out at short notice because allegedly John Key was opening up a store or a shop front or something of that nature around that corner at 3:30 this afternoon after being at the high school at 2:15, where he was opening a new classroom for the school students. We were informed of the school students by a source of mine that they would be there at the school, and we were going to go to that, but we decided against it because it would be disruptive to the students and their learning. So we decided to show some respect for the younger children of New Zealand there. And unfortunately, John Key was not at this location where I was informed that he would be.
Who told you he was going to be there?
Oh, just a source of mine, sir. I can't reveal my sources. I'm a journalist.
Can't blame me for asking the question, can you?
Oh, no.
You could have told me.
Yeah, I could have.
That's what we do. We ask questions. Try and resolve matters.
Exactly, and that's what being a journalist is also very much about, is asking questions, because the difficulty is, much more recently, the New Zealand government has been acting rather, excuse me, I think it was disrespectful for me to wear my sunglasses so you can actually see my eyes. The difficulty is in New Zealand, you may have heard recently that Parliamentary Services contacted a journalist inside Parliament asking her to reveal her services.
Mobile phone records, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
That's how you do what's the news.
And it's actually unlawful under the Bill of Rights to do that.
All right, just one moment, Vinny. Before we cause any more problems here, I'm going to get my staff to move my car out the way so the traffic can flow freely, and I'll carry on the conversation.
Thank you, sir. Just got your staff there, eh?
It's a very strange gizmo on your shoulder, I must admit.
Well, every item that you see here, the banners, tripod, cameras, shoulder mount, megaphone, has all been donated by my loyal listeners, sir.
Oh, cool. So how many people follow you?
In the millions.
Right.
Mostly international. Within New Zealand, I've got the strongest YouTube following for news and New Zealand history.
Yeah.
Have put on.
If I am listening, I'm just trying to write while I talk to you.
Of course.
So, your show or your broadcasts, how are they funded?
Strictly by listener contributions.
Cool. And how would listeners contribute towards your funds?
They would donate.
You know, we have all these devices, but still pen and paper rule the roost. Right, so is it Vinny or Vincent?
Technically, my name is Vincent, but I go by Vinny. If you write down the website, www.
Hang on, let's start with Vinny.
Okay.
Vinny.
Eastwood.
Date of birth, Vinny.
1984, which is incidentally the year of Orwell's famous novel about tyrannical police states.
It's not the year of his novel, it's the title of his novel.
Yeah.
It were, so...
The year that the novel is set in.
Yes, which is a few years ago. And we haven't reached that stage yet, have we? Because it's fiction.
Well, you'll be surprised how much fiction is based on truth.
There's always a bit of truth in everything, isn't there? But it is at the end of the day, it's a fictional novel. Yeah. It's lucky you were born then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you living at the moment?
Almost fate. I'm living in Glen Eden.
So your website is www.
.the,
Lowercase or uppercase?
It matters not.
Okay.
The Vinny Eastwood Show, VINNY.
Why?
Yeah, because it's the most important question. EastwoodShow.com. The YouTube channel, where you'll be able to see the video of this protest if you wish to adopt any further inquiry. YouTube.com.
Yeah.
/ Mr. News, MR News, one word, Guerrilla Media, GUE.
GUE.
RILLA.
That's spelling.
Media.
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 Okay.
Right, so it's youtube.com / Mr. News, Guerrilla Media.
All right. And your associates? They've all travelled with you today?
In fact, none of these people I'm even familiar with. I've only just met them today. I put a thing out on Facebook.
All right, cool. All right, well, I'll go and ascertain their details because they're here with you now. I said to you, everyone is entitled to protest. All right. The problems I had was the level of volume that was associated with your protest.
Would we be able to do a quick test here with you here to listen to ascertain what level would be okay for the remainder of the 5 minutes of the protest?
Is there still 5 minutes to go? There is. Do we need volume with it?
I think we do. It's kind of the point.
Okay, do we need to have our volume enhanced by electronical equipment?
Generally, because otherwise you just seem like a crazy, untechnologically advanced person yelling through their cupped hands.
Where were we before technology?
Yeah.
Well, I would rather you didn't use the equipment. All right. But how low does it go? I will allow you to enhance your voice to a certain level. All
okay.
Right?
So is there a law governing the decibel level that is allowed at protests or free speech?
Well, it's not so much that, Vinny, as I said to you a minute ago, mate. It's the fact that people have complained about the level. All right. Now, what can happen is that the council can come and if, you know, a noise abatement and all that stuff, and they could take it off you. And I'm sure you don't.
Well,
want
that's why I'd like to know what the parameters are.
I think it would come down to what you would expect people to accept. I don't think I personally don't know if there is an official level. All right, I'll let you know that now. But if people are complaining about it, I've come to speak to you about it.
Okay.
Okay, because people come to us and complain, and I have to come and speak to you about it.
Of course. However, I'm complaining about John Key. Would you go speak to him on my behalf?
Well, your complaints about John Key are that he is trying to pass a bill that you feel is wrong.
And also, many other things as well. Deception, that kind of thing, literally lying to the people, saying that there's Al-Qaeda people and not producing any evidence to that effect, occurs to me to be simply fear-mongering and deception in order to get unlawful activities that the GCSB committed, say, on people like Kim.com, to make them retroactively legal. That, to me, smacks of corruption.
A retrospective act.
It means that the 88 people which the GCSB, according to, I think it might have been Justice Winkleman, I'm not sure which, 88 people were ruled to have been unlawfully spied upon by the GCSB.
Right.
And as a result of breaking that law, nobody is going to jail for it, and indeed they are passing the law.
Mr. Key about speaking to him about this?
I have been covering a number of activists who have been doing so, but they seem to be getting stonewalled at every pass. And what he does technically is, like for example, Mr. Kim.com would be the most high-profile person who has come to contact John Key about this, and he is called a conspiracy theorist as a result. And in my opinion, what a conspiracy theorist is a person who believes that powerful people who have a lot of influence actually use their power to maintain or grow their influence. A coincidence theorist, which is on the other side of the spectrum, believes that everything in society, everything, happens by sheer coincidence. There's no such thing as deception, no such thing as backroom deals, no such thing as bribery.
Right. And which way do you think?
I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist. I believe that power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the third line that is not well known from that quote is that all great men are inherently evil.
All right. Right.
So I'll tell you what, Danny, I'll do you a deal. How about we pack all this stuff down and we'll move on, and you can go on with your day,
okay.
and we won't be back.
At all?
At all.
I suppose ever's too much to ask.
I don't plan on coming back to Pukekohe. It's a 100k journey for me, virtually.
You see, it's a very pleasant town. Lots of nice people.
Oh, I've got a number of friends who live out this way. Those are the people that gave me the tip-off. I mean, but I won't be out here protesting again. This is merely, John Key was in the area, we came to do him and we missed him, so we'll just quickly film something here, and then we're on our way anyway. That was the intention.
All right. Okay, Vinny. Well, nice to meet you.
All right, thank you, Danny, for your time.
All right,
and I apologise for if there's any wastage of your time here, but...
oh, well, no, it's never a waste of our time. People call us because they need it, you know, so we come. We come as quick as we can. All right, and we've resolved it now. You know, you're going, everyone's happy, the storekeepers are happy.
Indeed.
All right.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Vinny.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
All right. Well,
have a good day. Okay, guys, we're going to just pack it down now. We just made a deal with the police that we'll just pleasantly move on, and they'll pleasantly move on too. That's called an amicable relationship, and I want to thank Officer Danny for his candour in this particular instance. This is Vinny Eastwood, Mr. News. And its attempts to rob New Zealanders of their hard-earned privacy. My grandfather's friends, every single one of them, died in World War II due to the Japanese. The Japanese Empire tried to control people, tried to control what they could say, tried to control what they could think. And we, New Zealanders, decided that that was not good enough, and sent our men, our bright, flowering young men, off to die to protect our freedoms. And today, many people have... Good afternoon, Pukekohe. Beautiful out here, isn't it? Unfortunately, this wonderful land has been tainted recently by the touch of the Prime Minister, John Key. John Key is a Federal Reserve henchman. John Key was sent here by the New York Wall Street Stock Exchange to destroy this country. And it is not destroyed just yet, but he's working on it. The GCSB bill will take away your rights to privacy. Public street, mate.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Is this a private street? Is it owned by a company?
You've got to get permission to do this.
No, you don't actually. It's called free speech, sir.
Call the police.
Okay, call the police. This is what happens when you express free speech. People attempt to call the police if they don't like what you're saying. That is what this country is turning into a place where simply expressing your opinion, certain people are so offended by an opinion that they don't agree with that they will indeed wish you to be arrested or talked to by police. Apologies to any of the people who are running reputable and respectable businesses here. This is not meant to offend you or impede on your business standing. This is simply a public service announcement about the GCSB bill. Have forgotten their sacrifice and indeed are enforcing the same policy, the same mindset as the Empire of Japan and indeed the Third Reich of Nazi Germany. Throughout history, when the police are used to intervene with free speech, when surveillance is used upon those who disagree with the government's position, inevitably and invariably, that will result in the enslavement and/or